Thank you for tuning into The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is why is every time a black woman harmed, violated, or murdered, she is the scapegoat? And it's one thing for the world not to value or give much care to the black woman, ending up in tragic situations. But it's another thing when the black man, chalks it up and just throws it to the side. And it just becomes so damaging to the black woman when not only does he not care, but he justifies any situation where a black woman, comes up murdered or beaten or violated, and to just minimize it by saying she picked the wrong man. Let's talk about that. So, I want to first start off by saying the selection process for choosing a mate can be difficult for the black woman because of a few factors, such as in her life, there may not be a father figure or male family members interested in filtering her date. So, the average black woman doesn't have that male protection. And even though she may have male family members, it's just so heavily conditioned with a lot, not all, and this does not speak to all black women, but a lot of black women are living with the situation that they have male family members, but they have a mindset where they may have little value on the black woman other than just for sex. Okay? Number two, the surrounding men may be a poor influence. So even if she does have a man in her life, they, like I said, they may have a poor opinion or viewpoint on how to treat women. So that's going to be hard for her in picking the wrong mate as well. Number three, many black men complain that too many black women have too high of expectations. So there's so many videos, there's so many men, black men that'll say, hey, the black woman has too high of expectations, and that they should give a guy a chance that may not have it all the way together. So you'll hear some guys that, may not be in the best financial situations. And it's one thing not to, as a woman or a person, not to, think that every man that you date should be a millionaire. But it's one thing for, guys not to have the basic necessities, because those, do speak about a person's character, just the basic necessities. And, usually anyway. And although other races of women are hardly ever stereotyped or seen as them wanting or expecting too much. Okay, so the black woman could just want basic things. She could have a job herself. She could have her own home and own car, but she becomes unrealistic a lot of times when she asks for a guy to have the same basic. So these are basic things that a grown up should have. Okay, but other races of women aren't stereotyped. They could want diamond cured rings and mansions and houses, but they're not stereotyped as wanting too much. And when the black man vocalizes this about his own women, he is basically admitting to two things: that the black woman isn't worth bettering himself for. Okay? And the second thing he's admitting is that the black woman isn't worth much value. So she's not worth much value. Okay? Now, with the black women with the black woman being in between a rock and a hard place in regards to men, there was just a situation I'd like to talk about in Minneapolis where a young black female who was a realtor showing a house was allegedly set up by two black men and tortured to death by the two men. So there was two men that claimed that they wanted to see a house, okay, or I don't really know all the details to the story, but supposedly she was going to a house showing in her job, her career as a realtor, for real estate, and two men happened to be there, and and she was tortured and killed. And some say that this was retaliation for something that had to do with her boyfriend or significant other. Okay, so something about him maybe being in the music business or something of that nature. So this had something to do with, I guess, the guys wanting to get back, um, you know, retaliate against the boyfriend. And as always, there were black men, of course, there to comment that here once again is a black woman who, quote unquote, chose the wrong man. As if to say that all black women are just blindly and mindlessly making poor mate selection. And I want to talk about that deeper within the episode of black men, just chalking it up, sweeping it underneath the rug as if black women, all black women who end up in tragic or volatile situations, are just mindlessly picking men and opening up their legs to just any guy. And that's just not the case for every black woman. This type of mindset from our own black men is disheartening because it places 100% of accountability on the black woman for the fact that someone victimized her. The black woman is and always has been in a darn if you do, darn if you don't situation, okay? So we've always been in this tough situation as black women because the same black men that call certain black women stuck up or bougie are the same men shaking their heads and wagging their index finger, saying and telling the black woman she should have picked a better man. So, on one hand, we got black men saying, oh, black women have too high of expectations. She's too stuck up. She wants this and that, right? But out of the same breath, we have black men saying, oh, no, that you picked too easily. You were too easy. You were too this and that, you know? But this can truly only apply in situations, okay? So when black men wag their finger, this can apply to situations where this particular woman has a history of entertaining dangerous men or thugs. So yeah, she's picking the wrong man. And, that can be said like, hey, even though no woman deserves to be hurt or violated, but, when something like that could be said, she has a history of dating the wrong man, dangerous men that are openly dangerous, everyone can see it, okay? Or even despite sound counsel, chooses to go with a guy of whom she was advised not to. So if someone actually said, hey, this guy isn't a good guy, her father, somebody, her girlfriend, someone, people have told her, and she chose to do it anyway, then I can see, where this is being said that this particular black woman would be picking the wrong man, or this type of black woman in this scenario, okay? But for the black man to continuously write off every harm, abuse, and deadly force done to the black woman as just her simply choosing the wrong man is no more better than when white America tells the black man that when he was stopped for a missing headlight, that he was justified he was justified being murdered while unarmed. It's no more better than that. Okay? Instead of black men telling other black men to value and respect black women, okay? So that's what we need. We need more black men telling other black men to value and respect black women. We have some black men who would rather use black women as a scapegoat for being accused and responsible for another man harming her. Okay, so instead of black men encouraging other black men, holding other black men accountable within our own group of people, instead of having other people on the outside having to school us like we're children, other black men stepping up, telling other black men like, hey, we got to do better as black men. We have other black men blaming black women for their own demise when black men are being harmful to other black women. And we have other black men justifying it. I mean, that just makes it even worse. It's already bad enough that when the average black woman files a complaint with police or try to talk with predominantly white women crisis advocates, that they are always treated, or they always treat them. So these type of people, police workers and crisis advocates, they always treat them as if they're liars. So the black woman's treated like she's a liar or she's over exaggerating, or um, imagining a false sequence of events, or that quote unquote it didn't happen as you say it did. Okay, so we're always told that, okay? But the black woman has the man who is supposed to be an icon of protection and strength for the black woman also finding no value in her life, or so easily able to blame her for another man violating, beating, or murdering her. But I have a few questions for the black man. Number one, how are more black women going to feel comfortable with being feminine if she has to protect herself, because if one black man isn't attacking her, the other black man is justifying it? So how is she supposed to feel feminine or even considerate if she has to guard her own back? If she's got to spread her own shoulder blades out and act masculine because she has a sense that no other man is going to come to her aid or even protect her, and even worse, justify the brutality. Number two, when is the black man going to admit that it's not simply that black women are picking the wrong man, but that many black men aren't eligible enough to pick from? And this is not to down the black man, but I need them to honestly think about what I'm saying. For there to be so many black women, so many black women saying, hey, I gave this guy a chance and, he tried to ruin my life, or such and such, when is the black man going to just stop saying and just, giving this blanket statement, oh, you picked the wrong man? If so many black women are saying it, and there's 11 women to one man, then what does that say about the average black man? I need black men to start thinking about that. Number three, how can the black man ever think to be head or lead over anything or anywhere if he continues to shift the problematic incidences of violence toward the black woman on her shoulders alone? Why aren't more black men standing up to handle the problem from within, but then get upset if another race of man steps in to try to politic, police, or critique? Why isn't the black man handling his problems from within? That pretty much wraps up this segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you. If you'd like to contact me, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.